I'm Paul Perdue, the infrastructure nerd.
And I'm Mary Jo Boyd, a legal technologist.
One of the many powerful features of PracticeMaster is its flexibility, the ability to add and delete fields, but more importantly, your ability to rearrange and define screens, move things around, take things off.
Yes, but Paul, that can get so time consuming. And I don't know, you're like me, we want to have those fields exactly lined up, everything exactly proportional, and it takes forever to do that.
Yeah, I know.
It really does.
It's always been a sore spot with me, but now there's functionality in version 18 that makes that much, much easier.
Can you show us how that works?
I sure can. So the form designer has always been in PracticeMaster, it's just been enhanced. And to get to the form designer, you go to whatever file it is that you want to change the form for. So for instance, right now I am in the client file, and you can tell that by the designation that appears in the title bar up here. And while you're on the list tab, you click on edit and choose form designer. You cannot change the form design from one of the other tabs. It just won't be there. You need to be on the list tab for that particular file and go into the form designer. Now, again, this has always been here. It's the functionality that's changed. We now have this magnetic snap, and this snap to grid has been brought right out here. It used to be part of a toolbar option that you had to click on and then go in and check a box. You also have access to the magnetic snaps and the snap to grid right here from a right click within the form itself. You'll notice that we also have add field, add selector, add label. All these things that appear up here as buttons are now also available at a right click, and it will add that field wherever you clicked. So if I want to add a field right here, and I choose add field and click on a field that's not already there, bam, it's right there exactly where I right clicked. I'm going to right click and choose delete item and get that out of there. Now this to me is huge. See those red lines that show up there? They help me to know that I have got this field aligned properly with the field underneath it. And if I were to take it over here, I'd have green lines that show me that I've got the field properly aligned with the fields on its horizontal axis, the fields to the left of it in this instance. So the red shows me how it's aligned vertically, and the green show me how it's aligned horizontally. And I didn't have those before, so I would move a field around and I'd hope that it was going to snap to the grid in the right place, but if the grid was different than what the fields were, I was in trouble. Now, one thing that always bothered me in the past was I would drop something and I would have to drop it exactly with the right spacing between the other fields. But now I can click all the fields that I want to align and space evenly, and I can say equalize vertical spacing. So now I've got a button that allows me to do that, and I don't think I had the right field selected, so I'm going to select this again. I've selected all three fields, align, equalize vertical spacing. Bam. Now, another thing that's new is this ability to click on a field and then use your arrows. See how it's moving up? That's because I'm pressing the up arrow. See how it's moving down? That's because I'm pressing the down arrow. Didn't have that before. So you had to do all of your fine tuning either with the alignment that was available through the right click menu, or by getting it in the right place with the mouse. And we all know that the mouse isn't the most precise tool for getting something in place. So now I can place something, get it lined up, let's say, in relation vertically to the other fields, and then simply use my mouse button, my arrow keys, to move it around. Now, if I hold down my arrow keys, it starts to move very quickly. And then I can just use single arrow presses to do the fine tuning. Now watch this. This is another thing. If I wanted to change the width of a field, I used to have to do it by grabbing these and then hoping I could get it lined up exactly right. Now, if the magnetic snaps are turned off, this is more what it was like. I'd have to go, no, not quite, okay. But watch this. I've got the field highlighted. I'm going to hold down the shift key and I'm hitting my left arrow. See how that's changing the size of the field? And I held it down for a while and it starts to really go fast. So I can change the size of this field very, very quickly without having to use my mouse as a sizing tool and instead using the arrow keys and get the exact size that I want. We also, in the past, if you wanted to copy or cut or paste, you had to use these buttons. As we all know from using Word, Control-C means copy, but it didn't in the old version of PracticeMaster in the Form Designer. Now I can hit Control-X, for instance, and then right-click and choose Paste, or just click somewhere and choose Paste. Cut, paste, copy, paste. So I'm basically able to, and Control-Z takes me back to where I was in case I choose the wrong thing. I'm basically able to do what I had to use the buttons before for, now using a Control-C, a Control-X, and a Control-V. Very cool. You may also notice that Control-Z now takes me back to where I was. So if I mistakenly click on the wrong thing and move it, I can use Control-Z to get it back to where it was. Now I'm going to move this back to where it belongs. Finally, if I've got something where I want and I'm going to move it, and I'm like, oh, that's not the right field, I can hit Escape while I'm still holding down the mouse button. So if I grab a field, I grab the wrong field, and I don't realize it until I've moved it. As long as I haven't let go of that mouse button, which I haven't, I can simply hit Escape, and it takes it right back to where it was. We also have, and this used to be a real pet peeve of mine, if we hit the button here to exit out, there was no cancel. So we either had to save the changes, which we probably wanted to do, but sometimes we didn't, or not save them, which means we lost everything we did. There was no cancel that would take you right back to where you were. So if you hit this by mistake and you just want to say, no, I didn't mean to hit that, get me back to the Form Designer with the changes I've made, and in a minute I'll save them, or in a minute I'll abandon them. We didn't have that cancel, and now we do. So those are the changes. Maybe not all that significant to those of you who've never worked with the Form Designer. But if you're someone who's in there all the time, I'm sure that you're as excited about these changes as I am. So there you have it, the newly enhanced Form Designer. That's just one more way that we can help you worry less
And practice more.